Welcome to episode 34 of the Fit Strong Women Over 50 podcast. Hi, I'm Jill. Welcome to our podcast for the Becoming Elli community, where we focus on fitness, health, and food for women over 50.
Hi, I'm Chris. If you're a new listener, you may be wondering why this community is called Becoming Elli. Elli was the Norse goddess of aging, who, when challenged to a wrestling match with Thor, surprised everyone by winning. Jill and I decided that we wanted to be fit and strong too, just like Elli.
We also decided to share that effort with all of you. We created a website, becomingelli.com, with a lot of free articles for you to read. We also started a private Facebook group where we can share our accomplishments and ask each other for help.
If you go to the Becoming Elli website, you can find some things to help you with your journey to being fit and strong, including podcasts before this one. We also have some mantras to help you and an ebook of some of our very favorite recipes. Feel free to explore the website and find a whole variety of resources.
Besides the website, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram. We'd love to hear from you at whatever social media place you prefer.
Today, Jill and I have a great episode planned for you. We'll be talking about some key subjects that will help with healthy living, as well as to do an update about our training.
Yes, it's been a while since we've shared our progress on trying to become like Elli. So, Chris, what have you been up to lately?
Well, I've been doing a lot of different things. Maybe not as strenuous as last spring, but this past spring I have done 2 water stations, and I have another one planned next Monday. So I'm giving back to the runners. And as far as my own training, I've been really focusing on spinning and cycling. It's been great to be outside again, riding my bike. I did a nice bike ride on Sunday with a group of 16, well, there were 15 other people, 16 of us riding, and just a really fun day. I've also been doing a lot of yoga, trying to maintain and build core strength.
Right, yeah.
I did a strength workout last week, something I hadn't done for a while. I did the forward lunges where you do a kettlebell. I don't know, they call it figure 8, I think. You weave a kettlebell under your leg and then you do another lunge.
Yeah.
And I hadn't done that for a while. I only did maybe 15 and then two sets of that, 15 reps, 2 sets. But boy, did I feel it. So it's really funny when you don't do something for a while and then you do it again.
Right. You know. Yes. So sometimes you realize you've been doing other things that have improved your strength in doing that.
Right.
And other times you think, oh, my goodness, I should be doing this a little more often.
Yeah, well, it's hard to do everything.
It is.
There's only so many hours in a day, and I do find, though, some strength workout, if I just do 20 minutes, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, that's enough to really, not have the pain. But I haven't been doing those lunges like I should.
Right, yeah. So I've been trying to do yoga. I've been going to this, I guess it's sort of a gentle yoga class.
Nice.
So for me, when I first started going to this in January, I was just still dealing with that sciatica stuff. And there were so many things I struggled with doing. I couldn't do well. And I can now pretty much, it's not perfect, but I am able to, I don't start groaning the minute she says, do this. Because it's gentle yoga. It's not like I'm going to some power yoga class, but
right.
I'm so happy to have improved on it.
Yeah, it always feels better when you can see progress. I find that I like seeing progress more than anything, no matter what I'm doing.
Can I go back? You said you did water stations. Those were for running, for races?
For races. We did the Hermes 10-miler on a Saturday up at Edgewater Park, and it was the end of April. It was cold. It was very cold, and I really admire the runners because some of those folks, of course, they're warmer when they're running, but they're wearing tank tops even, and I had layers. I was kind of chilly, but it was so fun. We did cliff shot block, but it was basically a gel that, or maybe it was Cliff Gel. I don't know. So we passed out the energy part, and we also did a electrolyte and then water. It was a smaller race in that there were a little over 1,000 people in it. But this last Sunday, we did a water station with the Cleveland Marathon, and we were at mile marker 3.3. We had all the marathon people, all the half marathon people, and all the 10K people. So that was awesome. It was so busy at one section where the people kind of bunch up that at times I would pick up 6 cups, just twist around, turn back, and the 6 cups would be gone. And I'd turn back, get 6 more cups, and then 6 more cups, because it gets really crowded, you know.
Right.
Probably the best thing about Cleveland is that all runners are welcome, and walkers. And there were people, like there was one guy had a stuffed gorilla on his shoulders, like a stuffed animal, that he was, I think, walking to honor his mother. I'm not exactly sure what, but it was a tribute kind of walk. And then there was another woman who was actually using a walker, and she was obviously, you know, struggling with everything, because I think she was doing the 10K, so she was at the halfway point. But
wait a minute, she was doing a 10K with a walker?
Yes.
Holy cow!
I know.
Oh, wow.
So but that is part of Cleveland Marathon's mission, to have people of all levels to be able to participate, because it's not just about, like, I've heard people say, oh yeah, everyone wants to win. And for a lot of people, it's not about winning. It's about finishing. It's about a tribute to someone, to honor someone. You know, they do it for a whole variety of different reasons.
Right. Well, and, you know, to say that everyone is doing it to win, well, sometimes just completing it is a win.
Sometimes just training for something's a win, you know.
That's true. Sometimes it's just like, okay.
Yeah. The weather was very warm compared to some of the other years. Not as hot as some years, but it was sunny. And our water station was early in the day. You know, the runners started at 7 o'clock in the morning. I think our water station was finishing up at 8:30, 8:45. But, you know, people continued to walk through 1 o'clock and beyond. So
this is just sort of a little story about the marathon, because my son just moved into this little apartment up in Tremont.
Oh.
And I said, on Sunday, the Cleveland Marathon's going through Tremont. And he said, well, that's not a big deal. And I said, well, yeah, it kind of will be. You won't be getting out.
Did he watch it?
I said, but it should be done by noon. I don't know if he was, I don't know, because, you know, he had just moved in, and I don't think it really occurred to him that he would be able to see like a really fun thing going by. But But it was funny when he said, well, that won't be a big deal.
He obviously hasn't participated it from that location prior. But,
right. So, well, I'm glad you, that is giving back to the community, to the running community.
Well,
that's wonderful.
Because every race needs a water station. Not everyone that works the water station has run in events before and understands sort of what the runner's mind is. You know, some of the runners are trying to really make a PR, you know, a personal record.
Right.
And they'll run by and not even slow down, and sometimes knock the water out of your hand. Not intentionally, but, you know, they don't want to slow down. Then other people, they're struggling. You know, their face is all red. They're only halfway. You know, and they'll stop and maybe have 2 and, you know, need a little encouragement along the way. You know, most of the water stations at the Cleveland Marathon, I might be speaking out of turn, but at least ours had several porta potties, which is great because there's not too much of a line that way.
Right. And if you were at the 3 point, you had to be in one of the first or second aid stations.
Right, exactly.
So
yeah, we weren't the first one. They had water stations every 2 miles or so.
Okay. So you've been basically giving back to the community, cycling, spinning, doing a little bit of strength training
and yoga.
Mm-hmm. All right.
How about you? You mentioned your yoga.
Yeah, so I've been trying to do yoga. I'm probably not as often as I should be, but I'm trying to get that in there at least once a week or so. Mm-hmm. I have been running. I am almost finished. I know I said at some point I was doing the Couch to 5K app, and I haven't been doing it quite as a fixed schedule as they recommend, but I'm doing it. I'm almost finished with it. So I am now running about 30 minutes straight through.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so I'm happy. I mean, it's not fast. But that doesn't matter. I'm happy that I'm able to do that. And my goal is to sort of just really try and get to be like, so that a 3-mile run becomes my default.
Yeah, your base.
I'm not quite to that, but I'm really feeling happy with the progress, and I'm trying very hard to not get overly ambitious. Right. I really want to build that base, because everything I read about, whether you're training for a marathon, a half marathon, or whatever, is before you even start thinking about training for that, is you need several months of just good, regular, steady running.
Yeah.
And I tend to get overly ambitious with it. I start doing something. It's like, well, let's sign up for whatever. I'm trying to pace myself a little more and just really get a good, solid running base going. So that I've been doing that. And I also have been really trying to get to the gym and do my workouts. I did sign up for, our gym is having the fitness challenge again in a couple of weeks. So I signed up to do that, and I'm hoping I can do well on that one. But I'm really trying to do a lot of the strength training, because, one thing I've realized is I really like strength training.
Yeah, right.
I like it.
Feels good to be strong.
It does feel good to be strong. And the thing about strength training is it's really easy to measure how you're doing, because you either can lift the same weight that you did a month ago, or you can't, or you can lift more, or you can't. Or you can do it more often. I went to this class a few weeks ago, and we were doing this deadlift thing, and we went up in weight, and I didn't really I started too low, so I ended up at what was supposed to be the heaviest weight, and we were only supposed to be able to do it, 2 or 3 times, and I did it about 12, and then I thought, well, this is stupid, I'll stop.
You underestimated yourself.
Exactly. I should have started at a higher weight so that I ended up at a higher weight, because it really wasn't quite hard enough. So, but that was good. That's good
why
to know.
You practice and train, so you know where you are.
Right, exactly. So that was good to learn. I wasn't quite as bad as I thought I was, obviously. So I like that. I've been doing that, the yoga, the strength, the running. I have tried to do some bicycling, but that is the one thing so there's 2 things I've learned I'm really struggling with still doing due to the sciatic or the piriformis muscle or whatever. And this first one is a real heartbreaker. I can't do burpees.
Oh, well, gee.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd be so sorry about the burpees.
So if I'm in class, I'll say, I can't do burpees.
How about mountain climbers?
I can do mountain climbers, but I have to be a little careful. I mean, if I do too many of them, I notice it. But so it is nice.
It's a glute thing. Yeah.
It's a glute thing. So, but there's something about that burpee that I can't do. And bicycling is, I think I have to start I went out and I rode my bike for about 40 minutes, and I had some pain.
Yeah, too much too soon.
Yep. So I need to just probably go out and start with much smaller increments and work up to it. But I haven't really done that. So anyway.
Well, the thing is, Jill, you're pretty darn fit, and so it's hard to start slow on something that is new. Yeah,
right. Exactly. I have done a little bit of swimming, but not much. So but I'm happy with how things are going, and the fact that I'm running without problem is making me happy. So
wonderful. So how about the veggie challenge? Are you still doing new veggies each week?
Well, I've sort of run out of new veggies. Well, probably not. I really have. I mean, I'm sure I haven't, but
I laugh because it's kind of happened to me. I like certain vegetables, and I'll go to the store and I'll think, oh, I want this. Oh, my new veggie. I really want these. So I do have a recipe that I'm working on, but I haven't done new veggies lately. So that's why I laughed.
I am trying to, as part of the veggie challenge, is I've decided to really try and get vegetables into every meal, including my breakfast.
Oh, breakfast veggies. That's good. How do you do that?
Well,
what have you been doing?
So in fact, I have a photo I've been meaning to put online. I chop up a bunch of vegetables in the morning and saute them, and then put them with scrambled eggs with them.
Okay.
And that's one way. If I make a smoothie, I made a smoothie the other day, and I put in kale, cucumber, carrot, and then I put in like some avocado and some berries.
Wow, that sounds very healthy.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But that's sort of my new thing, is try to get at least a couple of servings of vegetables into each meal.
Well, my best veggie at breakfast is spinach, because I love a spinach omelet. I really do. With some feta cheese sometimes.
Oh yeah, that sounds good. And broccoli is good in an omelet.
Yep.
But yeah, spinach is good. Spinach really is good in just about anything. I end up eating about a spinach salad every day, it seems like.
Yeah, so the veggies, I have a veggie casserole that is called ratatouille that I'm working on pulling together the recipe. I love it. It's delicious, but it takes a little time to make. Now that some of the vegetables are coming back into season, I'm very happy about that. Yeah,
so here in Ohio, vegetables are starting to come in and the farmers markets are starting to open. That makes for a lot more enjoyable veggie challenge time, I have to say, because it's just wonderful to have fresh vegetables.
Yes, and I've realized, too, how many vegetables I already eat just regularly. It's sort of hard to get new ones, but I would love to have some listeners send us their veggie recipe of something of an unusual vegetable, because I'm ready for a new vegetable, and I'm kind of running out of new ones that I have a recipe that I feel really confident with.
All right, I want to pause here for a minute because somebody on our Becoming Elli gave us a really good tip on using carrots in meals. Susan posted, I know this is a common veggie, but carrots are amazing. I add shredded carrots to everything, including spaghetti sauce, goulash, soups, cooked gravies, salads, other cooked veggies. But the key thing is to shred your carrots on your handheld shredder. They seem tastier that way.
Oh, that does make sense because they're fresh.
Right.
And fresh vegetables really make a big difference.
And shredded carrots are easy to mix into other things. So I could see where you've put them in your soup. It would be like a thickener without really adding a lot. It wouldn't be like the same as chunks of carrots.
All right. You've inspired me. I'm going to try some shredded carrots later this week.
Okay. So thanks, Susan. We appreciate your tip on that.
Yeah, thank you. That's great.
All right, so I think with the veggies, I'm just going to, if I see something new and unusual, I'll pick it up. Otherwise, I'm going to just continue to look for new recipes and different ways to serve the vegetables that I normally eat.
All right. Well, one of the other subjects we were going to talk about today is something that affects every single one of us. That is sleep.
Ah, okay.
We talk an awful lot about what to eat and what we're trying to eat, and also exercise and, what we're trying, what we're having success with. But there's really a triangle here of healthy eating, working out, and recovery. And we talk a little bit about recovery from, say, a run or something, but we haven't talked a whole lot about sleep. That was a subject that was really popular in one of our blog posts earlier this year, and I thought maybe we'd discuss, there's different kinds of sleep, too. We all know that the deep sleep is what everybody craves, and light sleep is what I think I end up with. And then, of course, there's the rapid eye movement, the REM sleep, that helps to put things back in order.
Right, the REM is your dream sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Deep sleep is when your brain is that's really good, important for memory and mental processing. So
right.
You tend to have deep sleep earlier in your sleep cycle, and the REM tends to be more in the later sleep cycle.
Exactly, with light in the middle. And, you shouldn't underestimate light. It's still important from a sleep standpoint, because without getting a good sleep, your body can't repair itself. Especially after a heavy workout or weight training, the muscles get repaired. New muscle growth happens when the blood flows to the muscles and everything. So it's important to let your body rest. But you mentioned something about the brain. There's the whole fluid that washes through your brain when you're sleeping that helps to restore your memory and to put things into place, I guess. Without a deep sleep, I don't think you can really get that.
Right. That's a new scientific thing.
Exactly.
And it's separate from the lymphatic system, but it's a similar idea of processing, getting rid of the bad stuff out of there and letting
moves the toxins out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's a very interesting concept, because I gather they didn't ever know about it until just recently.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. But, there's a lot of reasons why people have trouble sleeping. I don't know. Do you ever have trouble sleeping, Jill? Not to get too personal, but
oh, yeah.
I know I do.
So I think it really depends on, there's times of your life when sleep becomes challenging, whether, there's things like perimenopause and so hormones, I think, can affect sleep. Yeah, so sometimes I have difficulties with sleeping. Sometimes I fall asleep great, and then I wake up in the middle of the night. Other times in my life I've had where I'm up bright and early. And it seems to go in phases for me, and I'm not sure why.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, even travel can have a big effect on your sleep, like jet lag for sure.
Oh, right. Or even staying in a strange environment sometimes can affect your sleep. Sound. So when I went and stayed I rented a Airbnb place. My sister and I went, and it turned out this cute little house was right on the railroad tracks. Well, the first few nights it was like having a train go through the bedroom. I mean, it was right on the track. The whole house shook. And so those first couple of nights I was up repeatedly, wide awake, adrenaline going. And then after a while, my body got used to it. So it's amazing how your body adjusts and how your brain recognizes certain things. So when you change your environment, you have that whole period of having to adjust to new sounds. And
Did they have good curtains in the room so that it stayed dark?
Yeah, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, because sometimes I find that's a problem. If I change environments and the curtains aren't dark enough, I wake up with the sun, or even with the light, not even the sun.
Right.
I never seem to have trouble falling asleep. It's staying asleep. And I've discovered that that's caused by several different things. Like if I drink too much caffeine during the day, even chocolate, that can cause problems for me. Or if I exercise too late into the evening and I don't wind down.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and that's, so not to say that I've ever done this, but if you drink a little bit too much alcohol in the evening, you basically fall asleep quickly, but then wake up an hour or two later wide awake and not being able to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
I struggle with that really with a lot of, and I don't know whether that's something that my body's missing, some kind of hormone or something, but the staying asleep. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I think I haven't had enough water during the day, and then in a bad way, I try to make it up. Right before I go to sleep, I drink a lot of water, and of course, you know what happens then. Got to get up in the middle of the night.
Right.
So,
right.
The hydration can sometimes be a challenge too.
Right.
Or a nap in the afternoon. Sometimes I'm really tired in the afternoon, particularly if I've done yard work, like on a weekend. I think, I'm just going to take 15 minutes, and sometimes that it'll change the cycle. For sleeping.
I rarely nap anymore because I think I went through a phase where I probably wasn't getting enough sleep at night. And so when I would go take a nap, I would go into a really deep sleep. And then I would be so groggy when it was time to get up that it was more painful than it was worth. I don't know if I would still have that problem, but I just got out of the habit of napping. I might lie down and read my book or something, but I try not to nap during the day.
Yeah. Well, and then other things that I think have interfered with my sleep might be if I'm thinking over, if I had a particularly stressful day and I'm feeling anxious about something, that might keep me up. I know when the kids were teens and I would go to sleep before they were home, my husband often stays up, but then I'd be light sleeping a lot more, just waiting to hear that they came in the door. You know what I mean?
Yes. So it is amazing to me
about something.
How your brain does that. If something's on your mind that you're waiting for a phone call, you're waiting to hear your kids are home, whatever, You don't sleep. I don't sleep as soundly. I don't go into, I suspect it's that I don't go into that deep sleep.
Right. Right. Well, there's lots of things that I've tried to do to improve my sleep, and please jump in if you think of something that I've missed. The big one these days is to limit the blue screens, that light that comes from your phone or computer or the TV. I hear that blue color interferes with the hormone that kicks in to help you get tired. What I've done is added a yellow screen into my computers. So if I do have to work late, it changes it from the blue screen to more of a yellow screen in the evening when the sun starts to go down.
It blocks that blue light?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a blue blocker. I guess you can buy glasses too that do that.
Yeah, I've seen those, and I gather some of them those are very trendy right now, and I gather some of them are pretty nice looking. But they have those blue light glasses.
Yeah.
I haven't used them, but the other thing I've noticed is the newer phones all have new light. They have a blue light blocking feature built right into them, so that which can come on. You can automatically set it.
Okay, so you don't have to download an app anymore.
No, just built right in.
I guess I always figured it was the app that was kicking in, but
the new phones, I know at least some of them have that.
And I know some people suggest for going to sleep when they have trouble going to sleep, at the very beginning, to do something like take a warm bath or listen to a calm audiobook or listen to soothing music or something soothing to kind of wind down.
Right.
Personally, I don't really do that simply because I never have trouble falling asleep. I swear by the time I go through my little routine of getting ready for bed, I lay down and I bet you there's maybe, 1 minute and I'm asleep. I don't know why, but I'm good at falling asleep.
That's because you're doing all that workout and running or bicycling and all that. That's, if you have a hard day, your body's tired and you go to sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, typically. I don't like sound when I go to bed.
Okay.
So the thought of listening to an audiobook is not appealing to me at all. And I hate music when I'm going to sleep.
Really?
Yeah, that was a big thing when my husband was alive. He liked listening. He liked putting the radio on.
Yeah.
And I would lie in bed thinking, when's this damn radio going off? He would fall asleep listening to the baseball game.
Yeah.
So that's not my thing. But I would love to get in bed, read a book for a little while, and then I get tired and go to sleep.
Yeah. So that works good for you.
Yeah, I just read my book. But now with all the screen thing, I was like, well, I guess I shouldn't be reading a Kindle or an ebook at night. I should just be reading a regular book, which is what I tend to do anyway. But good thoughts on that.
A few weeks ago, we went camping, and I was concerned about sleeping because, whenever you're either tent camping or camping in a camper or what have you, it's a new environment, and although you're tired and everything in the outdoors, sometimes sleep can be a problem. So, I took some melatonin with me. I've noticed in the stores, they sell like 5 milligrams and 10 milligram capsules, which is way too much. I mean, 3 milligrams is, I think, the maximum that you're supposed to take at a time. But, even a 1 milligram is enough, I think, I guess I shouldn't be touting what the milligram rate should be, but I know that I couldn't believe that there were 10 milligrams because your body never produces 10 milligrams. I don't know why they have it so high.
So melatonin is the hormone that your body produces to help you sleep?
Yeah, to go to sleep.
Right. And so you can buy a supplement I think as we age, our body often reduces the melatonin it produces, which is probably why as we age, sleep becomes more problematic. Okay.
Well, I do know from what I've read that if you take too much melatonin thinking, if a little bit's good, more is better, that will actually cause nausea or, headaches and will disrupt your sleep cycle. So if you've tried it and it didn't work, it may be that you took too high of a dosage.
Yeah, I know a lot of people use melatonin, and it's something that I always feel like I need to know more about it. I have used melatonin, so I'm not, but
well, especially for jet lag or something like that, where your cycle's all messed up, it helps to kind of get it back on.
Yes, and I would think that when schedules get disrupted, that it would be a good way to help you get some sleep, because you do need the sleep.
Right. Another way of falling back to sleep that I like to use is, well, counting sheep used to be a thing, but I find that counting sheep isn't something that makes me feel sleepy. But I do find that if I count breaths, breathing, like even in groups of breaths, like, 3 at a time or what have you, a deep breathing kind of exercise, or breathing with using different words, like breathing in with a mantra kind of thing, sort of like breathe in resilience, breathe out resistance, or breathe in the good air, breathe out the bad air. There's lots of different mantra kind of things that you can say to yourself. Like even I will wake up refreshed and looking forward to the new day, kind of like a relaxing thing.
That is sort of that's a good way to probably get relaxing thoughts in your head.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried.
My mom used to say things like, think happy thoughts.
When I was a child, I used to think, particularly if I would wake up in the middle of the night, you can tell my age, because I would think about changing the TV channel. And I would, in my head, turn the little knob, change the channel, and then I would have try and find a happy, pleasant show to watch in my head.
Yeah, I was kind of obsessed by different dreams, and I always loved to dream about ponies and puppies. That was like my, so I never thought of it as a TV channel, but I would try to plant ponies and puppies in my head so that I would dream about those, because I loved that when I was a kid.
I can't remember what I liked to dream about, but.
Well, I was listening to I was going to say book on tape, but it's actually a download off of the Libby library from Andrew Weil, the doctor.
Yeah.
And it was one about breathing and kind of meditation. And he talked about 4, 7, and 8 breathing. And, he talked at length about it, but basically you breathe in for the count of 4, you hold it for 7 counts, and then you breathe out for the count of 8. And it helps with relaxation. And, he suggests just start with 2 rounds, but only work up to maybe 5 rounds tops of doing it. Or you use a body scan where you scan your body starting at your toes. Relax your toes, relax your ankles, relax your calves, and you just kind of work all the way up to the top of your head.
I used to do that a lot.
If you even make it that far.
I used to use that a lot. And I would.
Is that right?
I would also, if my son was, when he was little and was having a hard time going to sleep, I would sort of do that with him.
Okay.
But I would do sort of a tighten the muscle, tighten your toes, and then relax them, and then work your way all the way up your body.
Nice.
And that is a very relaxing routine. I haven't done that in a long time.
And, some places suggest working on all the senses besides having a dark room and a quiet room, like to even work on the sense of smell with essential oils of, lavender or vanilla, maybe jasmine, that helps the body relax because they reduce anxiety. I'm not really one that uses smell very much, just because, makes me sneeze sometimes. But, some people I know that the sense of smell really helps to relax them as well. But I'd love to hear our listeners if they have any more ideas of either how to get to sleep or stay to sleep, but, basically to get a good night's sleep. Please send in your ideas or post it on our Facebook page or in the group. I'd love to hear.
Yeah, I think it's something that we all struggle with, so I'm sure someone has some good suggestions for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to talk about another subject, too.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about omega-3s. That's something I keep hearing about or people talking about. And I remember, so this was years ago, my husband was diagnosed, had high triglycerides.
Okay.
And his doctor gave him a prescription for these, at the time, very expensive fish oil capsules.
Oh, wow.
And then my dog got prescribed fish oil capsules. And so I did a little research then, and I started taking the dog's fish oil capsules. She and I we'd go to like, the drugstore or Walmart or wherever and buy
You didn't buy them at the pet store.
No, we bought big bags or big bottles. So I used to tease my husband, you get the fancy fish oil capsules and I get the Nunu and I are taking the cheap fish oil capsules. But at any rate, so that was really the first time that I knew about fish oil. And so this was a long time ago, and Dave was taking them for triglycerides. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of whatever omega-3 is. It's a type of fat, basically. And there's 3 different kinds of fats. There may be more, but the 3 basic ones are omega-3s, omega-6, and omega-9s.
Okay.
The 9s we just need a small amount of them, and I think we get that typically from our diet, but we get all of these from our diet. So the omega-6s come a lot from vegetable oils. Mm. Those of us eating the Western American standard diet tend to have a lot of omega-6s and not nearly as much omega-3s. Mm-hmm. We used to, so before we ate the diet we have now, most people had a lot of omega-3. It was all in proportion, but right now we don't get enough omega-3s. If you don't have enough omega-3s, you can have heart problems. It's actually, the American Heart Association, so this isn't just like woo-woo stuff. This is, real medical people agree we need omega-3s.
Right.
So the American Heart Association says we need about 1 to 3 grams of omega-3s a day. If you don't have enough omega-3s, you can get a number of health issues. Besides high triglycerides, you can get rough, dry, bumpy skin, and dry, dull, brittle hair and dandruff. And as you know, I've been struggling with some skin issues before, and so I'm thinking maybe I need to up my omega-3 things here after reading this. Mm-hmm. Problems with your nails, they can be peeling or brittle, soft. You can have excessive thirst. You can have difficulty sleeping. So that maybe
Speaking of sleep.
So if you're having problems with sleeping, you might want to make sure you're getting enough omega-3s. It also can affect your mental state. You can have difficulty paying attention, focusing. It can also lead to excessive mood swings, depression, anxiety. So if you're struggling with those, you might also want to consider upping your omega-3s. I gather that a doctor can actually do a blood test and check your omega-3 levels. I don't think I've ever had that done, but
okay.
If you're really worrying about it, you could probably talk to your doctor about that.
When you get your blood test for your
cholesterol
or what have you, they can check this too.
They probably could. Or, like when they check, I know my doctor will often check me for a vitamin D level and that kind of thing.
Right.
That would be something to ask about. How do you get more omega-3s? Well, fish oil capsules, as I said. So that's basically buying a supplement. You can take fish oil capsules or you can take krill oil capsules.
Okay.
But the number one way, so if you don't want to take the capsules, is to eat fish several times a day.
Let's back up a second about the capsules, because I have 2 things I want to say about that. One is sometimes when I take those capsules, I can be burping fish. I guess there's burpless ones, but even the burpless one, I find sometimes that those capsules make me burp.
I think you can buy what they call burpless ones. I also think you might try changing the brand.
Okay.
Because I gather, so the problem with taking supplements of any kind is that there's not a lot of oversight on them.
Mm-hmm. They don't have to pass FDA approval.
Right. But there are brands that do have more testing done. So
okay. Maybe switch brands.
Maybe try a different brand. And I hate to say go with a more expensive one, but
that's usually the case. Well, the other objection, I guess, I have to the capsules is they're huge.
They are. Now, when I used to give them to my dogs, they loved them. They thought they were like a great treat. They would bite them. I think they were getting that, like they would bite them and have
the gel capsule.
Don't ever bite a fish oil capsule because it's like you're just getting a blast of fish oil in your mouth.
Too
it's
intense.
Really not pleasant.
Unless you're a dog.
Unless you're a dog. Dogs like that, apparently. So if you don't like the fish oil, try the krill
Okay.
oil, those capsules. So krill is like a little,
They're smaller.
yeah, well, that's really, so krill is what? Like little sea life things. I mean, I always think of krill as those, like blue whales eat the krill in the ocean. They're,
Tiny.
yeah, tiny, but I don't know what the pills are like. They're a different color than regular fish oil, but I've heard that they are good. So you might try that.
Okay.
And I haven't tried them, so I can't tell you. But
So I try to
if you,
supplement my supplements with food.
yes, well, so that was my next point is whether or not you take the supplements, you can increase your omega-3s through food. And the first one is to up your seafood, but you need to eat certain kinds of seafood to get the omega-3s because not all of the seafood has it. So salmon is the big one, obviously.
And I love salmon.
So salmon, particularly wild caught salmon rather than the farm-raised salmon. Farm-raised salmon doesn't have as much of the omega-3s. Sardines, which we've talked about before. Sardines I think are an acquired taste, but if you start working on it, you can learn to like them, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Anchovies are good. And mackerel, halibut, tuna, those are all good for getting the omega-3s. And with all of them, you really want to get wild caught fish. So I'm not saying you can't get the omega-3s from other ones, but those are the primary ones, the salmon, sardines, anchovies. So other omega-3 foods that you can use are nuts. Walnuts are really strong in omega-3s, flaxseed, chia seeds. Those are all good. You can add those to your
smoothies.
So add them to your smoothies, add them to your salads, sprinkle seeds on the salad. Walnuts are better, are really strong. You can eat other nuts and get the omega-3s. Walnuts, chia, and flax I think are your best bet. Some vegetables may have omega-3s, and I'd have to look up which ones those are, but and grass-fed meat. So if you eat meat, particularly like beef and that, you can get more omega-3s if you eat the grass-raised beef instead of the feedlot beef.
I never heard of omega-3s being in beef. I always thought it was the seafood, like you said earlier.
Yeah. So I'm not saying you get a ton of them, but if you're eating the beef, you are better to eat grass-fed because you get more of the standard beef, that you go to the grocery store and just buy. The feedlot beef doesn't have omega-3s in it. They're bigger on the omega-6s. And most of us have so much omega-6 that it's better to try and get the omega-3s wherever you can. So that's why grass-fed meat is so popular. Also, game, if you eat game or bison, they tend to have more omega-3s in them. So, oils. So if you want to reduce the amount of omega-6s you get, then you have to reduce basically your processed vegetable oils and replace those with healthier oils like olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, if you do all of that, you should hopefully see some improvement. The other thing I didn't mention is some of the inflammation things. So arthritis and all that can be affected by omega-3. So it's just a good way to do some of the things to help with your health. We keep talking about it. So if you're eating food, so you can do a lot of things with your diet to increase the omega-3s. And if that's not sufficient, then you might consider supplementing and supplement with the fish oil or the krill.
Well, between the omega-3s and the, whether you're doing the seafood or oils or seeds and nuts, it sounds like it'll improve hair, nails, sleep, heart, arthritis, mood,
attention.
It's all good things.
Right. If you're struggling with things like focus or memory or whatever, I would make sure you're getting sufficient omega-3s in your diet.
Yeah.
If you're having skin problems, hair problems, make sure you're getting the omega-3s. If you're having sleep problems, you can do all the things that you and I already talked about, but maybe make sure you're also getting your omega-3s. It's just part of having a healthy diet and helps with all the things that we struggle with on a daily basis.
Well, I don't know about you, Jill, but I learned a lot just hearing you talk about the omega-3s and, and researching some of the things for the sleep and all that. There's just a whole lot to being healthy as we grow older. And it's not all just eat right and work out, right?
Right. And it's, we worry about things like our weight and all of that. And those things are important. But, having a good, healthy diet is probably one of the best things we can do for ourselves. And sometimes that's
a challenge. It's a challenge.
It is a challenge. And we just need to pay attention. And there's always something new to learn. And you may already be getting these things because you may already have decided, I need to eat more nuts or seeds or whatever. Right. And so this is a bonus if you're having any of those problems.
Yeah, because I think we've talked about healthy proteins a lot and healthy carbs, but, this is one aspect of healthy oils that really makes a big difference in your body and how you're feeling.
And one of the problems we have is that we've been taught so much to avoid fat. Mm-hmm. When you say eat nuts, the first thing many of us think is, well, I don't want to eat too many nuts because that's fat.
Yeah, too many calories.
Too many
it's
calories.
Like we focus on calories more than the right mix of things. Yeah.
Right. And I'm not saying you should sit down and eat a pound of walnuts a day.
Jill said I should.
Yeah, Jill said. So, I think about many years ago when I would be worrying about my diet I wouldn't be worrying about having a healthy diet. I was worrying about my weight. And I remember sitting in the evening and nibbling on reduced fat fig Newtons, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to eat, but probably not the best thing in the world. I would have been better off to have nibbled on a few, probably just the figs would have been good, or a handful of nuts or something.
Well, for so many years, low fat was considered the healthy eating type way, and it's to the point where we eliminated too many of the good fats.
Right. So this is something to think about, that it's an easy way to work on having some healthier outcomes for us.
Right. Thank you.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything that we've been doing lately.
And I hope those of you listening will let us know what you've been doing to stay fit and strong.
Yes, and feel free to let us know what you thought of this episode. And if you have any helpful hints on sleep, omega-3s, vegetables, whatever, please let us know. Leave us a message on our website, becomingelli.com, or on our Facebook page.
And we also have a phone number where you can call to leave us a message, and that number is 330-970-6662.
If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. You can do that wherever you listen to podcasts, and be sure to tell your friends about us and show them how to access podcasts if you need to.
Yeah, we're really excited because we just learned that Becoming Elli has been accepted for Pandora, and it should be available soon. I don't believe it's up there quite yet, but it will make it much easier than ever to listen to us. But we're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and any number of the various other podcast apps.
Be sure to subscribe at our website, too, for updates on all of Becoming Elli activities. You can find lots of great information there and some things to download.
Thanks for listening. Join us for the next episode of Fit Strong Women Over 50 podcast.
Yes, see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.